So, who are you?
My name is Joshua Kafour, but my artist name is Sway.
Is there any recent art projects that you've been working on?
I've actually been working on something for Champion these past couple of months, maybe like 2 months now.
What's this project like with Champion? Like, did you get an internship, a co-op? Like, is this on your own? What was the background?
The project was just kind of like an idea that I had. I came across this hoodie, which reminded me of Tega Akinola, and she does like these upcycling with like clothes and like bags. I should buy that hoodie and turn it into a bag.
Was it just because the Champion hoodie was there? Like, if it was another brand, would you still do it?
It was like that hoodie was meant to be there for me to see it. You know what I mean? And I feel like it wouldn't work with other brands because how the hoodie was designed is how I clicked that idea.
You said that you made a bag. Is the bag finished?
So originally the plan was to make the bag, but I ended up like taking a whole different route. Like I ended up making a sports bra instead.
What moved your focus from making a bag into making a sports bra?
My vision switched from like the bag to the bra is because like I said, like it turned into a whole research project, and the more I dug into like how Champion became Champion, I found out that like they were one of like the first brand to make sports bra. I wanted to create something that resonated with what Champion is and what Champion stands for in Champion's history. So I felt like it would be more, because I was making the bag just for myself, but if I made the sports bra, like it's becoming to be bigger than me. Like what I'm making is not just for me because I'm a man, like I don't wear sports bra, you know what I mean? So it was become like something bigger than me.
How long did it take you, like from what you thought it would have taken you, and how long did it actually take you to like complete this entire project?
It took me, I think we're probably moving on like close to 2.5 months right now. When I first initially started, like I had everything mapped out, and I thought, oh yeah, like, this should be like pretty light. And I feel like sometimes I start off with like an initial idea, but like what I end off with is completely different. I never thought about making, like an advertising campaign for. I didn't even know how, like I quit my job. Like I quit my job because I solely like wanted to like focus like on this project and like complete it.
So would you say all that time and energy that you spent to make this to become a reality, was it worth it?
100%, like 100%. I feel like each and every single day, like I think about it. Literally this morning, I was in the shower and I was thinking, I was like, damn, like what would you actually do if it wasn't about money? And I've had this conversation like this with so many different people. People had like different answers. And I wonder, cause like some of my friends, like I feel like are definitely like money hungry, and there's nothing wrong with being money hungry. I'm definitely like money hungry too. But I feel like people are money hungry now and like they're putting that energy into the wrong thing. I feel like you should be money hungry to invest in your craft. You know what I mean? Like I feel like people talk about like when you watch videos about like successful people, they always make stuff like, oh, take risks. You know what I mean? Take risks. You're young, take risks. But like that risk is like be prepared to be broke now. Like be comfortable with being broke now. So down the line, you could be successful.
Walk us through your project.
So from the start, I wanted to make like the bag. Like at this point, like the idea of making a sports bra hasn't been like introduced in my head. So I was just set on making the bag. So I wanted to first like take a picture of a model that I found. Her name is Wanola. She goes to UMass Lowell. So I want to just take a picture of her wearing the hoodie first, and then it's kind of show like this is what it looked like before, and then this is what it looked like after. I took the picture first. She was against the plain wall, and I was like, I don't like how this looks. Like I wanted to make it look more professional, like more intriguing, which led into like, oh, like maybe I should print like the history of Champion, put in the background to make it more like compelling. Even with that idea, like I didn't even know where I was going with this. So I printed a bunch of like pictures based off like Champion's history, and I just pasted them all like around the wall, like horizontally, vertically, like everything, just left it there. And then like after putting out the pictures on the wall, I pulled out a seat in front and she sat on the seat, and then I just kind of like guided her to like how to pose, what to do, and I took a bunch of pictures of her, and then from that turned into like, I literally after that, I plan on like ripping the pictures off the wall and just kind of like throw it in the trash. But I also had another friend that was like over, her name is Mide, and then she was like, oh, like you should turn that into like something and give it to me. Like she was like, oh, you should put all that together and give it to me. And I was like, no, I just paid like $50 to like print all these pictures. Like, I'm not just about to give it to you. Like, if anything, like I'll make it something for myself. And that actually sparked like another idea. I was like, cause I didn't want to throw the stuff away. Like I like to like make art that I can keep myself for my room. So after she said that, I sparked an idea, and I was like, wait, hold on. Like, what if I just glued all this together on like a plywood or something like that. You know, made like something big. And you told me about Mod Podge, and which is kind of like something that made like the whole process like a little very like different, very unique. So yeah, I painted. Mod Podge is basically kind of like a glue that kind of transfers the picture without the paper. So it was like a lengthy process. I just did that, put all the pictures there, glued it, and then ripped the pieces off like little by little. I honestly thought it was like an easy process, just gluing the picture down, because like I want to be random, but it had to be like strategically random. You know what I mean? So just gluing the pictures down took 7 hours, like minimum. Like, and that's me like underestimating how long it actually took, like 7 hours to glue the pictures down, and like to actually like rub the actual like Mod Podge off. Like my fingers are like not that big, and I have to use my fingertips. So it's like, imagine scraping 4 feet by 4 like over and over and over and over again. That took like a whole, it probably took like 2 days on that. Like I think I worked on one time like 12 hours straight, like one day. Like my back was hurting, like men's was in pain.
From 12 to 12, bro. Look at my eyes, bro.
Just literally that part of the project took like 3 days for me to like piece together.
After the Mod Podge fiasco, all that, did you do anything with the plywood, or was that the finished piece?
After putting the Mod Podge on there, my next step was I wanted it to be more unique, like I said, you know what I mean? Like differentiate yourself. And I didn't want it to just be like a bland piece. I also want to like implement some type of like art into like pop art into it. So I kind of like ended up like painting the borders, writing out champion in it to kind of like give it depth, because with the Mod Podge on it, when I look at it, like I know what I'm looking at. Like it's pretty bland, like it's just straightforward. But with the painted like borders and like the champion on it with a little bit of it dripping, like it gives it depth, it gives it like scale. So it's kind of like I look at it from different levels and like different perspective, because it got to a point where I was like, nah, this is still too bland. So I ended up even gluing some of the Mod Podge, some of the papers on there without like ripping it off, to give it like, oh, this is the first scale, this is the next level, this is the third level. So like it draws you into like an illusion rather than just like, oh, like just looking at it like straightforward.
It's not like you had the idea already planned out. It's more as you went on, that's when you were able to improvise, adapt to like what you wanted to see it, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like literally like, cause I was trying so hard to make it like champion like guideline, you know, even like with the colors that I was trying to use. But like sometimes it was like not everything is planned, you know, like as you move on, like creativity, like, oh, maybe I should do that. But then it's like, I didn't plan everything like went by the books, you know what I mean? Like I was here one day, I was here the next day, I was up the next day, I was down the next day. So it was like all over the place. I feel like sometimes people will look at me and they're like, bro, like, but it's like, bro, like sometimes like the initial idea is there and I build off of that. Step 2, phase 2, like something completely happens where it takes me completely left of what I actually planned to do. And I just decide to go down that road. Obviously, like you do have to have like a certain level of planning to it, of like you have to have an idea, a vision of like, this is where I'm trying to go and this is what I want to achieve. But like for the most part, like that is never what I end up achieving in the end. Like it's always like something completely different.
When you started off with this project, what were you trying to go for, like with this, like in the beginning?
So I think Champion is a great brand. I feel like no brands like do it like Champion. So many people own Champion. Like you can never go wrong with Champion. I feel like Nike and Adidas get like, and all these other brands get like a lot of attention, but Champion doesn't like get the recognition that it deserves. There's so many people that wear Champion. And I'm like, bro, this brand is like comfortability. Like it's safe. Like, you know, like it feels relaxing. So I wanted to like rebrand them. That was like my initial like idea. So kind of like change the logo up, you know, kind of like make it more like my taste. It was kind of like I was trying to have fun with it. So I spent like 8 hours working on the logo, and then realizing like maybe that isn't like the approach that I should go with, you know, maybe like, because this isn't like, I took this project as like Champion hired me to do this for them. And I'm not going like, welcome to Champion. I'd be like, I think this is what is wrong with your brand. Change your logo. Champion has been there for like hundreds and hundreds of years. Like, who am I to come to an office and tell them like, hey, like, I think this logo will like resonate better? Because like a lot of brands do rebranding, but like I'm not nobody. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not about to like change their brand up. So I thought like even to get like recognition from them, it would be better if I just kept their history as it was.
So when you were doing this project, I know you talked about you switching gears from doing a back to a bra, but was there any other like difficulties or anything that you found like a burden, not a burden, but anything that you found difficult to accomplish?
I got a sewing machine for Christmas, like last Christmas. I asked for it because I want to learn how to sew. Like, I feel like I want to like learn different types of art. Like, I think art is everything. Phone is art. My shoe is art. Socks is art. Light is art. Everything in this life is art. A pebble is art. You know what I mean? So I want to like learn sewing. So I got a sewing machine for Christmas. I haven't like really touched it. I've watched a few YouTube videos, and I was like, oh, this would be a great time for me to like use that sewing machine. So I picked it up, watched a bunch of YouTube videos, tried to set it up, and I got to the sewing. You know, I cut everything out, and man, that day was frustrating, bro. I really did not know how to sew at all. Like, I thought a couple of YouTube videos would be all I would need. But like, I'm telling you, but like, I watched like 5 YouTube videos. I thought I had it. I started it. I did not have it. Like, that shit was not going nowhere. It just wasn't working the way that like I had planned it to. You know what I mean? So I was struggling like OD with that, and I realized I was putting too much stress on myself. And I went to go ask my friend's mom for help, and she was kind of like busy at this time. So there was this lady that I went to church with. She was my Sunday school teacher growing up, and I went to her. I was like, hey, this is like the plan that I have. This is what I want to do, and she was like, oh yeah, I have time, I'll help you out. And she literally like talked me through like sewing. She sewed it for me for starters, but she talked me through like why she thinks like my sewing machine wasn't working the way I wanted it to, how to set the sewing machine up, and she was great. Like, but that the sewing part was like, cause I'm telling like I was like on my campus and I was chucking my teeth like every Tuesday. I was like every single time my friends walk by, they're like, bro, I think you need to take a break or something. I was like, bro, like nah, I gotta figure this thing out. Like, because I was also like trying to do like on a time constraint, because I feel like I had to work on the project for so long because I keep adding stuff to the project. So I just want to like be done with the project so I could like hop onto like something next that I really want to work on, because I have like a whole list of stuff that like I just haven't gotten to yet, and I just wanted to get. I was like, bro, like I'm getting tired of this at this point. Like, let's get it done with. So yeah.
Along this journey, you talk a lot about other people's input, having to go to other people for stuff that you need help with that you couldn't do on your own. How important are these relationships that you built? Like, are there any other people that you met, and like what does it mean to you like to have these connections like built up already?
For a very long time, I have always like, it's always been like me against the world type thing. Like, not like NBA YoungBoy type beat, but like it's always been like, you know, I have to like figure things out like for myself on my own like type thing. But like I feel like these past few months, like I've made great relationships. You know what I mean? Like I've gotten closer to like most of my friends. Like I've made good friends to even just like start that off with, like people that like genuinely like care about you and like want to see you grow. And these are like some people that even like helped me with my project, because when I first started the project, it was hard. Like there was a point where like I almost gave up. You know what I mean? Like it was just stressful. Like camera wasn't working the right way. My tripod was broken. Like printing, I went to go to print. Like the printing wasn't coming out the way I wanted it to come. Like I was already tired from research, and I've been scraping plywood for like 5-7 hours. Like nothing was going the way like I really wanted to go. But like I remember I literally just gave up. Like that day I was like done. I closed everything. I'm like, bro, I'm not doing this anymore. And then my friends came and they were like, oh no, like, you know, let me help you, blah, blah, blah. And literally like 4 or 5 people just started pitching in on the entire project. I had Faith, Rhoda, Lasari, Evans, Mide was there, Nola too. So there's so many people that just like came in like off bat, and like it made like, it was just like such a relief of like, oh, thank God, because it was just me putting pressure on myself that I never didn't put on myself. You know what I mean?
When you were taking these pictures, photos of Winola, did you have like a vision of like you wanted to make it a certain ad campaign? Like what did you want to capture in these images?
For one, most of like my projects that I do is always about storytelling. Like it's the biggest thing ever, like storytelling. Like I wanna bring the audience into exactly like what I'm doing. Like take you through a process of like, this is why I started with, and this is why I ended with. This is why this didn't work, this is why this worked. So all throughout like the entire process, I was always thinking about like, how am I gonna bring people in to the story? How am I gonna make people feel included in the story? So with the pictures, I just wanna like expand on that. And even with how like I edited them was kind of like, I didn't have a vision, but I was more of like, I knew I wanted to create an ad campaign. And I had different ones where like one looked like it was vintage and from like the 70s, and one that was just kind of like regular, like something you would see like on a billboard sign, like something you see in a magazine, which is also like what I was going for, like magazine covers, like something like I'll flip through. I wanted this to be like a magazine story of what people will like see.
When you were starting this project, you talked about a lot about it. Low-key turned into a research project. So what are some of the key stuff that you learned from this history that you use to create this project?
One of the key things I actually learned was like Champion started by brothers, some brothers that like, based in New York that wanted to like create clothing. Champion was originally called like the Knickerbocker like Knitting Company or something like that. And from there is just how they created the reverse hoodie and how it was like comfortability, and they tapped into like college campuses. With that being like them talking about like their college, I wanted to like add that into the story too. I went on college campuses with me and my campus and like daily living, and I took a picture of every single time I was someone wearing Champion. And surprisingly, like, and it's an outrageous number of people that were Champion each day. Every single day, bro, I had someone I had to take a picture of. Oh, stop right there. Like, and I tell them about like what I'm working on, and I just take a picture of them and they're wearing Champion. I'd be like, hey, like, nice to meet you. Like, my name is, which also turned into like a networking thing. I mean, I met like over 30 people in like a span of like a couple of weeks. You know what I mean? Just be like, hey, I'm sorry, like, my name is blah, 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 this is what I do, and I'm working on my project for Champion right now. So I feel like just even learning about their history, knowing that like they were tapped into like the college life, athletes, and things like that too. So it made it very like easy.
We talked about you starting this project, your journey through it. Is there any advice that you want to give someone who wants to pursue something similar to what you're doing? Like, what advice would you give to your former self?
Definitely don't wait. Like, take the risk. That's like definitely one. And like, don't wait for people to come to you with projects. Like, bring your own visions to life. Like, that's like definitely like the biggest one. Because I feel like if you wait, like, this Champion tell me to come make all this, no. I was just sitting there one day, I had an idea. I was walking around Marshalls, I had an idea. I was like, oh, let me do that. And then it turned into like a whole this, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't have to like make all this turn into an advertising campaign, stop over 30 different people that I want to take a picture of you because you're wearing Champion. Like, I quit my job, spent 2.5 months just specifically working on this thing where no one told me to do it. Champion might not even see this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, definitely like, don't do what I'm doing, because I mean, I feel like I still make stuff work, you know what I mean? Like, but definitely don't wait for people to like bring you the idea, like bring your own ideas to life and like be influenced, like be energetic about it. Surround yourselves with like people who definitely want to see you grow, like people who are like very genuine about like who you are and where you want to be in life. People who understand like your vision. So in times of like you're struggling, people like this, like it's easily for them to help you. So like surround yourself with like-minded people. Like, so that, and just bring your own ideas to life. Like, don't wait for anybody, bro. You have an idea, make sure you're bringing that idea to life.
I see you got your hair, you want to explain like what you got going on with your hair and stuff like that? Like,
yeah, I feel like it's all like a marketing tactic for me, like everything I do is like, I guess a little bit strategic, but I did this actually for like a masquerade, that like happened at UMass Lowell yesterday. Just like I was kind of like doing it for it, but I feel like it gets people talking. It makes people like ask questions.
So you feel like it's a conversation starter?
It's a conversation starter.
So it's a part of like networking for you?
It's a part of networking for me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to say much, because like obviously if I'm in public and I see sometimes you just don't know if someone's a creative or not. You don't know what industry someone's in. So if I'm walking, I'm like, oh, like I like your hair. I'm like, oh, thank you. It's just a great way for me to be like, oh yeah, like, you know, I do art. You know, I like art and I make art in my free time. It's like, oh, that's not, let me see something. Oh, this right here. So it's like a great conversation starter, and I feel like people are very distracted. Everyone's in their phone nowadays, you know what I mean? Like I could sit in a room full of people and like 95% of them will be in their phone. So like conversation is not really starting that way. So like even with me having my hair like this, like I could step into a room and then like it could spark a conversation. I also want to be like an extension of myself without me having to say much. You know what I mean? Without me having to tell you that I like art or stuff like that, you'll be able to like tell just by like looking at my hair. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it. Something different.
As we're wrapping up the project, like everything that you did, like I think it's amazing. I think a lot of people are gonna be inspired by this to maybe start their own projects. Probably just go for it, like you said, giving that advice. Is there anything that we could expect from you in the future? Like anything that you plan on working on, or do you not want to give that away?
I definitely like. I like a little bit of a Great Gatsby, you know, vibe. You know what I mean? Great Gatsby vibe. I try not to give everything away, but definitely like expect like a lot. I have like a lot in my mind planned out that I just like want to showcase to life. Is just like time constraint. You know, I'm in school. I'm double major. Like I don't have much time to like, but definitely like expect a lot. Like I feel like after this project, like I'ma refine some old projects, and then from there on forwards, like definitely have like something like some big things. You know, like something that's not everything has to be like major big, but like definitely like expect. Like I feel like I'm locked in now. Like after this, like I'm locked in.
Thank you for coming out. Thank you for doing this interview with us. Appreciate it. Thank you for sharing your vision with us, your thought, your process, all that. We really appreciate this. Hopefully this goes out to many people, inspires them, lets them do what they want to do. Is there any last words or like any sign off that you want to do?
For sure, chase your dreams, bro. Like, especially if like you're my age. I just turned 22. Like, what? Actually, this month, the first of this month, I just turned 22. So just, we're young, bro. Chase your dreams. Stop chasing like the bag. Like, I know you need money, but like, try to find your purpose first. Like, you know, I feel like that's where fulfillment comes from. So, to all the kids my age, just do what you genuinely want to do. You know what I mean? Like, stop caring about the opinions of other people, because you know, people can't wait to bring you down. And there's some people that kind of like, they just want to watch you. They don't want to support. They don't want to give you a handout. They just want to sit in the back and just watch you, so they can be like, oh yeah, I was there, I knew him, blah, blah, blah. You just be able to place your friend groups in different categories. You know what I mean? Just like, don't mingle all your friend groups into one. You know what I mean? Like, have friend groups for like specific reasons. Like either have a Christian friend group, have a party friend group, have like your friend group that you talk about finances, like so different friend groups. So surround yourself with great people, chase your dreams. Like I feel like that's so like cliche. Oh, change your dreams. So like, but my dreams ain't paying the bills. But like, bro, you're 20. Like I mean, like I'm privileged in like certain areas, you know. So like I acknowledge that, but like chase your dreams, bro. There's nothing like much more that like I could add on to that than risk it.
Thank you once again. Sway or Josh? What do you want to sign off as?
Sway. I feel like 100%. Like I'm Sway 24/7. I'm always in that creativity mode. Locked in. Yeah, guys. This is Sway signing off. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, and comment. Oh my days, bro. I was here one day, I was here the next day, I was up the next day, I was down the next day. So it was like all over the place. But what was your question?
I don't even remember.
That's gotta be a blooper, bro. That's gotta be a blooper.
I don't remember, bro. But I think
Nancy's just trying to.
I'm just talking, bro. I'm trying to sound bad professional.
What was the question? I don't even know. You seen that A Boogie interview when, what was he saying, bro?
Sometimes you just got to think about things like how you don't want to think about things.
What does that mean?
I don't even know.
Hey, man, but let me tell you. Hold on, Boogie. What? Hey, homie. What?
but
Dropping gems.
hey, dude, but that dramatic pause.
Yes.
What?
Crazy.
I almost hit you with a yep.
I feel you.
Hey, man.
He said something mad deep, bro. And then they were like, wait, what that mean? He's like, I
don't even know.
I never know where my finished product, I never know where my finished product don't fucking laugh. Bro said, excusez-moi. Bro, be fucking professional, bro.
I never heard you say excuse me why in my life. Where did that come from? Yo.
The man them don't know man's French, innit? That's mad, bro. Francois. But, bro, what was the question? Don't tell me you don't know, bro.
Watch him, look, get it right back. I'ma get it right back. Fuck it, spend it all, ain't nothing, get it right back. Shorty gon' be fucking, she be sucking, she be like that. Asking how I'm getting all this bread, told him like that. Get it right back, I'ma get it right back. Fuck it, spend